Hey guys, I'm back. It's been like a month. I'm so sorry. I've had people like messaging me like, "Did I miss a new episode? Did I miss your new post?" And no, you didn't. That's the answer. You did not miss anything. I'm just slacking. Um, kind of a combination of busy life and just being a lazy slacker. Um, and maybe a little piece of me is putting it off a little bit because maybe subconsciously it's getting a little uncomfortable, but because we're starting to get to the point where we're really going to get into some dirty, gross, uncomfortable stuff. Um, so maybe subconsciously I'm ready but not ready for that. I don't know. But I'm going to push through because that's my goal and that's my purpose being here and doing this channel. So, just to recap a little, where we left off was kind of just the relationship with my mom and Linwood and some of the domestic violence that had begun. That was kind of it. So that kind of leads to the first time, we'll call it. Just a disclaimer before we really get started. It's gonna get I don't want to say vulgar because that just sounds like really raunchy, but uncomfortable. It's just gonna get gross and into the nitty-gritty, and if at any point you yourself are uncomfortable listening to it, the details, the just everything, don't watch. Take care of yourself and come back to it another time, or skip past it a little bit and try and find the next part of the video. It's not so raunchy and nitty gritty and details. Cause I don't, I feel like we're all adults and I'm not gonna kind of dumb this down to like a G rating or even a PG rating. It's gonna be, you know, kind of 18 and older. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it or filter. That's a good word. I don't have a filter anyway, but in general. But I'm definitely not going to filter a lot of this out. So, yeah, if at any time you yourself are uncomfortable, you just can't do it anymore, you can't listen to it, you can't watch it, just take a break or just stop. It's fine. I won't be offended. But come back if you just can't watch this episode. That's fine. But keep watching because it's not always going to be this bad. All right, so I was probably about 9. We made our way over to live in Lamoille County. Kind of made our way from St. John's Mary to Danville, and then Hardwick, and then ultimately in Morrisville. And that was where Linwood had grown up. That's where his family was, still is. He's still here. And so at this point, like, I don't really remember having a lot of feelings about moving. I mean, obviously, starting out a new school is scary, and I never really fit in anyway. But maybe I felt like I didn't really fit in because I was never out of place long enough to fit in. Who knows? So we moved here. I was in 3rd grade, so I was probably like 8 when we actually moved here. Started school, and life, just kept moving. It really wasn't weird or yeah, it was normal, whatever normal meant at that time. And we moved to a couple different houses or apartments. The first one was right in the center of town, and the next was at a building on Bridge Street, which, if you're from the area, is a very popular street, very well known. for positive and negative reasons. But just to, those of you that do know the area, give you a little sense of where, because the building is still there. It's if you are going over towards like Brooklyn Street, you go over the Green Bridge. There's like a house on your left, and then there's like a big apartment building that used to be Bourne's Energy or something like that. We lived right there. We lived in one of those apartments first, and then for whatever reason, we moved next door to the one on the end. And, my mom worked at Ames. Yes, we had Ames. Fun place. She worked at Ames at the time. I was just going to school. I had, and Linwood was working at Price Chopper. And so we had our building. There was like a driveway, and then there's like another building there. My friend Lisa, who may or may not be watching this channel, but she is part of the story. So she lived there, and we would play outside all the time, and obviously went to school together. And so by the time we moved there, I was in 4th grade, so 9. And, I was just normal. I was going to school, hanging out with my friends. I still didn't have a lot of friends. I got picked on a lot still, but that was just life, and that was that. I spent a lot of time playing, on my own imaginary play and keeping myself busy and not bored. This particular day was in the winter. I don't really remember it being like heavy winter, so maybe it was kind of springish. I can't really recall, but it was colder. I was on the bus with Lisa, and we were going home from school, and we were all excited, and we wanted to get together and play Barbies after school, and I was going to get my Barbie horse and my Barbies and my stuff when I got home from school and go over to her house and play. My mom was working until later that evening. I don't remember if I knew if Linwood had to work or not, but I was like, okay, I'll ask Linwood, and then I'll be right over, because it was never an issue. I never really got told no with that sort of stuff, because it was simple stuff. Yeah, you can go next door and play with your friend. Sure. So that was our plan. I ran inside. I threw my backpack down. I ran through the house. Actually, now that I'm talking about it, I don't think that day I realized that my mom was working, because, what 9-year-old really keeps track of their mom's schedule? But so I originally ran in and was like, Mom, and she didn't answer me, which was rare, so I assumed she was working. Then I was like, Linwood, and calling for him and didn't get an answer, but I knew someone was there. So I went to the house, and we had an upstairs. Going up the stairs, still calling for Linwood. And they get up there, and the way our house was, you go up the stairs, you have my mom and Linwood's bedroom, and then my room. You kind of go around a corner, and they're right there. So he came walking out of the bedroom, dressed in my mom's skirt and shirt. He had nylons on. He had a bra on. He had 2 kitchen cereal bowls in the bra, obviously for his breasts. And he had her heels on. And being 9 years old, kind of presented with that, I just started laughing at first. I was like, what are you doing? And he was just really, obviously the whole thing was weird, but just really quietly said, we're going to go play dress up. And immediately my stomach flip-flopped, and my kind of fight or flight kicked in, even though I couldn't really do either of those. And he kind of just guided me into the bedroom, and he had a skirt laid out on the bed for me, and he had a kind of a belly shirt crop top laid on the bed, and he just sat me down on the bed and said it again, we're going to play dress up. And I started to cry because I knew this wasn't right. I knew grown men don't play dress up little girls. Grown men don't dress like women. At that time, what else was I to believe that, transgender life or choices was not really a thing as much then. And obviously, if you're 9, you're not going to understand that, even if it is a thing. So I started to cry. I started to kind of scream or get loud, and he just covered my mouth. He had a pocket knife nearby that he reminded me he could use at any time if I didn't stay quiet or cooperate. And I asked, my clever 9-year-old brain was like, well, can I go get Lisa and she can play dress up with us? Because I'm trying to cater to him. I don't want him to know that my intention is obviously I'm going to go get Lisa and I ain't coming back because this isn't right and we're going to call for help. But, I also knew that some instinct in me knew that I had to obviously not tell him that. I had to still play into his game and make him think that, well, the more the merrier, So he just ignored me. And he undressed me. And he put me in the clothes that he had laid out for me. And then he just proceeded to try to have sex with me. Laid me on the bed and fondled me a lot with his fingers. And I just cried and cried and cried. It hurt so bad. Like I can still feel the pain today. These big man fingers in places they shouldn't be. In some place it's never been touched except by my mother, helping bathe or whatever. Was just, I didn't even know that this type of stuff was a thing and could happen, and I had no idea what sex was, like, obviously. Had I known what that was, it would have scared me regardless. So, and he fondled a lot inside, around everything, and then attempted to use his penis. And obviously wasn't successful completely, but tried extremely, extremely, extremely hard. And I would scream and he'd cover my mouth. I would just scream out for help. Mommy, anything that I could scream. Hoping someone would hear me, knowing no one was at the house. The neighbors, it wasn't really that close of an apartment building where the bedrooms are situated for neighbors to really hear. And outside, there's traffic, there's whatever. Lots of factors went into that. So this went on for, I couldn't even estimate, how long this first incident went on. It could have been 10 minutes, but it felt like an hour. Could have been an hour. That felt like 2. It could have been, I don't know. It's hard to say, but I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get away from him. He was stronger than me. He was going to do what he had to do to get what he wanted, and that was sex from a 9-year-old. And eventually, while I lay there still crying, then begging him to stop and saying that it hurts, and just praying to God to somehow make this end, I heard a car door slam outside. Our driveway was right under the window of where the bedroom was. You could look out that window and see our driveway. So we both heard the car door slam. And he jumped off of me and ran to the window, and I booked it. I just got up and I ran for the stairs, and I ran down the stairs screaming, "Mommy, mommy, mommy," because I guess I thought maybe she must have been getting rides to and from work or something. So I thought she was home, and I hear, "Mommy," and it was Linwood's mom. And I was like, "He's raping me, he's raping me." How I knew what rape was, that term, and to associate it with the things he was doing, I have no idea. Somehow I knew that. And she said, "Well, who is?" And I said, "Linwood." And she was like, "Okay, let's calm down, let me figure this stuff out." And so she was coming to pick me up because Linwood had to go to work that night. So I was going to hang out with her until my mom got done work. So then it all made sense. But she led me up the stairs, and I was scared to death. I held on to her. I said, "No, no, 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 I don't want to go back up the stairs." And by the time we got up there, which wasn't very long at all, it was literally just a few minutes, he was out of the clothes, out of my mom's clothes, in his work clothes, like he was getting ready for work. She took me into the bedroom and was like, "Why don't you go get changed, because you can't go outside in that, it's cold out." So I went in, shut my door, changed. She goes, "I'm going to go talk to Linda and figure this out." And she came back a little while later. I was changed and ready to go. And she said, "He said that he was just checking you." I don't know what that means to this day, because that's just not a thing. Grown men don't need to check any age little girl for anything. They don't need to check anything with their fingers. They don't need to check anything with their penises. They don't need to check anything. So she was mommy, though, and she believed it, because why would she want to believe that her son would do something so disgusting as a mother? But so she's like, we're going to go to my house. I got to wait for your mom to get done work, and then we'll talk to mom. So we left. She got me McDonald's, hung out at her house for a little bit, and then, took me to pick my mom up, and then back to our apartment. And by this time, Linwood had not even shown up to work. He was supposed to be, and just never showed up. So none of us knew where he had went. But we got back to the house, and his mom, her name was Fonda. Her name is Fonda. She's still alive. Said, "Blake needs to talk to you." And so I told her what had happened when I got home from school that day. I just told her exactly what had happened. And she was like, "Oh my God, like, what do I do? What are we going to do?" And I don't really remember much else in that conversation happening, but she said, "Well, let's give you a bath, clean you up." And she said it might sting, your private area might sting a little bit when you're getting a bath, or when you're using the bathroom or whatever. She got me in the tub, cleaned me up, put me to bed, and I remember her saying, "We can't tell anybody about this, right? We can't, you can't tell anybody about this, because bad things could happen." So I was like, okay, well, whatever that means, but okay. I went to sleep and got up the next morning. My mom came into my room to talk to me and said that Linwood had come home in the middle of the night, and she had talked to him about what had happened, and that he wanted to apologize, and that he told her she wasn't giving him enough attention. So he had to get it from me. Whatever. I guess that's kind of a common answer for them. So she's like, he's downstairs and he wants to apologize. And so I went down, and he just was like, "I'm sorry for what I did, blah, blah, blah." And I tuned it out after all these years, because a sorry means nothing after that. So, and again, my mom just reiterated that, we can't tell anybody this. So that was that was that. He was sorry, and we couldn't tell anybody, and he was still going to be around. Yeah. She quit her job after that because obviously she wasn't going to leave me alone with him anymore, which in my mind, she was protecting me. So I think I'll stop there because that is a lot. Yeah. Whew. I hope you guys continue to watch. Keep coming back. Sorry it took so long to get a new video up. It won't take that long the next time, I promise. Maybe. I'm glad to know people are watching, though. When I was getting all these messages from people asking if they had missed a post or something, I was like, oh, cool. That means people actually are paying attention and they're following and they're subscribing. And so that's pretty cool because I just want to share my story, and terrified of public speaking. And even if I get over that fear, there's really not an outlet for me to do any public speaking engagements about this. So until there is, this is the way I'm doing it, I guess. So again, sorry that was so heavy. That was a lot of information, but that's just the nature of what I'm trying to do, and that's the nature of the situation. So, take it for what it is, I guess. If you know me now at all outside of this, you kind of know the person I've become. And so you know that there is a positive light after all these gory things that we're talking about. So thanks for watching, and I will see you all soon.